Welcome, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. We are so excited about today's show. We're going to get into it. Here we go.
He challenged me. He said, you should meet 2 or 3 people every day.
We're talking about how to level up on LinkedIn and engagement, being the go-giver, the idea that being open to opportunity.
We're all deal with challenges, but how do you overcome them?
Master Connector with Steve Spiro and Cameron Toth is live on air.
Oh yeah, here we go. So we're talking about gateway to your gift. And listen, when you are out in the world and you need to talk about yourself, and we talk about, right, we talk about it all the time, right? We were given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. You should spend most of your time listening. Hey, Greg, you want to spend your time listening, but there is a time where you need to talk about yourself. I deal with it all the time in interviews where I'm asking people to talk about what they're good at, talk about what they have experience with, and you should be able to advertise yourself and talk about yourself in a way that really is special and lets people understand where you're coming from when you speak, creating those bonds of connectivity. I love with my Master Networks Association group, right? We talk about bond, and so we talk about building on commonalities. And so if you have that rare talent of being able to speak and talk about yourself in such a way where people get to know you personally, as well as professionally, sharing experiences that both share insight on who you are as a human being. For myself, that could be talking about how I'm a father, but I'm also coaching young players, my 12-year-old son and all his buddies. We have a big pack, a squad, and how, going through leadership conversations with them and sharing stories about that not only is going to share a little bit about what I do kind of on a service level and as a father, but it also talks about my skills as a communicator and how I'm working with these young boys, right? And so there's different stories that you can share. And so I want you to get into the comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I am tuning in from Valhalla. My man, Steve Spiro, the Master Connector, is working on getting his audio tuned in. So we'll hear from him as soon as he chimes in. We'll put him on the screen. But I wanted to get into this right away. And so when you are talking about gateway to your gift, right? How to let people in. I think the first step in that is self-awareness, right? We want to understand what we do well. And sometimes it takes, and we've talked about this, right? The idea that you give somebody a really big gift when you pay them the compliment, when you let them know that they are good at something. And so even though we're asking you in the quotation, right, self-aware. And if you are with me and you're in the comments and you're letting me know where you're tuning in from, like Greg, who's from Atlanta, Georgia, in the house, Yolanda Chin, my good friend now, and I can say I've seen her in person, live down there in Frisco, Texas, went to the National Soccer Hall of Fame right there. With the FC Dallas Stadium. Really, really good to see her, and was a lot of fun getting to know her better and sharing common experiences. But this idea of being self-aware, what I want you to do is I want you to get into the comments, and I want you to put in hashtag aware if you're with me. Don't be a LinkedIn lurker, YouTube lurker. Get in there, take some action, aware. All right, hashtag aware. And so what we're talking about here, and I want to know for you, how have you become more self-aware? Zachary's tuning in from Bertram, Michigan. Thank you for being in the house. We're going to talk soon, Zachary. I will get a sooner time for us to talk. Yolanda's got the thumbs up. We're excited. There we go. And Greg's right on point there, aware. So how have you become more self-aware? I think for me, becoming more self-aware has come through asking for feedback, taking note, journaling a little bit, thinking deeply on what I do well. We were asked at this recent conference that I was down at in Dallas, Connect 2023. We were asked, kind of close our eyes, and I'll ask you to do that if you're watching this. Just close your eyes for 1 second and think about, what am I truly gifted at? For me, what came out of that was communication. For my daughter, what came out of that was awesome. And so I really appreciate that that's what came out for her. I was looking at her notes. That's a big deal. If you can think about what you are good at, and awesome isn't the example that I would throw up, like maybe some sort of skill, talent. For somebody, it might be coding. For somebody else, it might be game theory. For somebody else, it may be, I'm really talented at reading through, I'm detail oriented. For somebody else, it might be, I'm an amazing athlete, an amazing trainer. I know how to show other people how to train and exercise in a way that is really effective. And so understanding your special skills and talents, that's a really big deal. And so I encourage you to jump into that. If you have done some of those things, let me know in the comments. Have you done the journaling? Have you taken a personality test like DISC assessment? Have you sought feedback from others to better become self-aware? All right. If you're into this for the next one with me, if you're hanging with me, let's do #gift. All right. And again, Steve is dealing with technical issues and delays. So as soon as he get some sound in there and volume, we're going to get him on the show. But exploration, what is your gift and why do you consider it so? So we talked about, being self-aware. Do you understand your gift, right? What is your gift? So if you're with me, do #gift. And then the next thing I want you to type in after you do #gift is, what is your gift? What are you gifted at, right? Exploration, encourage individuals to try new things, take on challenges, and experiment with different hobbies and interests. This can help them discover new talents and passions they didn't know they had. So have you explored and tried out new things? Do you know that you're good at this today? You might be good at something else tomorrow. I was, on the like personal life end, right? I was like, oh, I like biking. I don't really like the road bike, thin tire kind of thing. I always like popping over like curbs and stuff like that with bikes. And then, as a now older man, not man child, right? Man guy, right? I was like, oh, let me try this mountain biking thing. I like popping over things. I like the challenge of it. And so for the first time, like, now in my 40s, I started really like going mountain biking and going through the woods and the trees. I would never have known that I was good at it at all, or that I enjoyed it without exploring that, right? With owning my own company, I would never have known that I was able to do that without jumping into, I credit having the opportunity to be a food service director at a relatively young age, doing a bunch of different things. That gave me some confidence, but I would have never known that I could succeed at owning my own company and making money with it if I didn't try it first. And right. So exploration is a big part of finding your gifts. You will never, ever find something that you are also good at, right? That is also a gift if you do not try it out. So I encourage you to explore, make sure that you are digging into things. All right. Next thing, if you're with me, we're going to learn. And I love Yolanda said she was a good listener. #learn. If you're with me, we're going to get that into the comments here. #learn. What does it mean to find your gift? Encouraging individuals to invest in their personal growth by attending workshops, seminars, or taking online courses to develop their skills and knowledge. If you're not investing in yourself, you are not investing in your number one asset. I just did this, like I said, this conference down in Dallas. It was a cost of money. It was a cost of time. But it was money and time well spent. It was so good to break away from my everyday, because we can get caught up in our grind and really not take notice of the shifts, the changes, new information that's out there, different ways of doing things. I credit definitely being somebody that goes to conferences and events, personal growth kind of stuff, for kind of keeping me up with technology, making sure that I'm looking at new things, tapping into even silly things like podcasts, because you're hearing from leaders in the industry and you're hearing what they're listening to, and that sounds good. Okay. For me, I listen to a financial podcast called T-Boy, the best one yet. And I love it. A couple of guys that have good camaraderie, and they do 3 financial stories every morning. I love that podcast. There's another podcast by Erica Krollberg, and she is all about financial sort of mastery. She talks about her background, being a lawyer, being $200,000 of debt, coming out of school, shifting from being a kind of a high power, major player kind of lawyer to now she's kind of a social media creator, content creator, and that whole journey, right? And that whole process. She's got the #1 business podcast in the country now, and I guarantee you she wouldn't have gotten that if she didn't learn, she didn't try, didn't reach out and do new things. She was really good at short form TikTok content. Finding your why, Greg. I love that, right? God's purpose for you, pray and ask. Yeah, I think, being spiritual is a big deal, right? This understanding that, for me, I'm not a person that goes to church every Sunday in the sense of like, I'm sitting there in the pews and I'm praying to God, but I do consider myself a spiritual person. And I think you do have to find ways to sort of get into the higher consciousness, whatever you want to call that. We have Mother Nature, our creator, and there's a lot of different ways to do that. And going to a conference sounds like a silly kind of thing, but going to a conference, getting out of your sort of daily grind, is a great way to have those moments of reflection where you can get a deeper spiritual connection to your why, to your purpose in the world. All right. If you're with me, if you're still with me, you're hanging with me, let's talk about networking. This is why we show up on this show, the Master Networker Show. It's all about networking. So if you're with me, hashtag networking. And so I want to make sure, Greg, I hope you're connecting with Yolanda and Jeanette. Shout out to you. Thank you for being here. And Zachary, make sure you're connecting. Make sure that you are getting it in. Mark, thank you, sir, for being here. Make sure that you're connecting with each other. Mark's over on Facebook, but a long-time connection, so I appreciate you checking in here. Let's do hashtag networking. And so Steve is a big proponent of this, does an amazing job of this. If you have not seen what he's putting together, there's a cruise coming up, and you can network on LinkedIn. You can call people and you can talk to people in line at Starbucks. But there's a deeper way to connect with people. And he's got an opportunity coming up where he's going to do a cruise, teach everybody about the 4 pillars of networking, September 20th, 25th. Buy your ticket right now. Steve's going to drop a link for me somewhere, and I'll get that to you. But you want to get in on this, because this is one of those things. If you got the time to do this, if you got the money to commit to this, this is one of those things where you're going to have the opportunity to be with people and connect with people in a way that you would never have the opportunity. Steve, you with me there? We got volume, we got sound? Not quite yet. All right. So you're going to get an opportunity. So. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. We get sound?
Yeah.
All right. A little delay.
Got some sound.
Right.
I'm on the other computer with probably the big data.
All right. Still a little delayed. So let me jump into the networking piece here, right? So networking, there's so many different ways to do networking right. And there's a couple of different ways that you can do it wrong. We talk about it all the time. Don't pitch slap people. And I was actually digging into this with my my mastermind group, my business coach the other day, because it's like I know there's people in my industry that I want to connect with because I want to make a sale. And so I can start getting in my head when I'm just connecting with people. Connecting with Yolanda, I'm not going to sell her wait staff or anything like that. It can be very easy for me. I just want to connect. I want to collaborate. Let's learn about each other. But sometimes when I'm connecting with a food service director, chef manager, regional manager, those folks that I know that, are potential people that are customers for me, I can get a little in my head with it and be like, well, I don't want to be salesy. How do I connect to them? What do I say? Do I just say, hey, I'm Cameron Toth. I have some staff. Do you need some staff? Are you looking for staff? No, there's an easier way to do this, right? Hey, I really respect you. You're in my industry. Want to reach out. Let me be a resource to you. If I happen to have a question, ask it. Hey, I'm looking to learn how to become a vendor in this company. Is there a form? Is there a process? I've looked on the website. You want to do some due diligence, right? And you don't want to just ask questions willy-nilly. It doesn't work well if you're asking a question that you could just easily Google, right? Don't waste people's time. But if you got an honest question about how to gain entry or deal with an issue or challenge, that's a great thing. And one of the things that I am in the midst of planning is creating an event that's specifically for my Tigers Hut, because they're not being served by another event. And so I'm going to create an event that has my target audience so that I can really give back to that community. And of course, it's a way for me to then connect and make sure that I'm serving as well as connecting with all those people in that community. And that can be a really, really good way for you to get in there. Now, if there's already an event association or a group that has those target people that you're looking for, well, join it. What are you waiting for? Get in there, right? For me, we were looking at, potential customers. And yes, there's a lot of pitch slapping, Yolanda. And thank you, Greg, for on the networking note, getting in there. We appreciate that. So make sure you're doing that hashtag network. Thank you. And I love that pitch slapping. It happens a lot. Yeah, absolutely. All right. And so there's better ways to do the connection piece and just being a human being. Hey, I'm interested in this. I see you're in this local area. Do you ever go? Listen, the worst thing somebody can say is no, right? But if you ever say, I can say, hey, do you ever go mountain biking or running, or do you work out here? I love the book, and Steve was mentioning this one of the few times because he finally picked it up. But Never Dine Alone, really, really great book or Never Eat Alone, really, really, really book by Keith Ferrazzi, I believe it is, because he talks about all of these different ways to invite people into your regular routine for connection. Not only are you getting to know them better, an opportunity to speak with them, but it's more convenient because you're not stepping outside of your zone. I was just listening to the Erica Krolberg podcast I was listening to this morning. It was talking about, you don't want to do the fancy dinner that's not in the budget. Well, we can do a potluck. We can get the community together. Are you interested in learning more about the parents, of your children's friends? Organize a potluck. Everybody bring something in. I don't have to feed everybody on my dime completely. Like, there's different ways that we can do this and bring people away. Just creating a little bit of thought around it and creating those moments that are fun. All right, let's get into the next one. Grit. All right, and this is the challenge, right? Because we may have a challenge thinking through some of this stuff, and it becomes an obstacle. I have a goal. I want to complete that goal. How do I get there? I have this challenge. I got a budgeting issue. I got time challenges. You have to have the grit to overcome obstacles. So how has overcoming obstacles led to you to finding your gift? What obstacles got in your way, and how did you get around them and then find your pathway to your gift? I know for me, in terms of Toth Event staffing, communicating with people, hospitality, the more I face my biggest challenges, the more I am introduced to my gifts. Now, what I mean by that is the more I throw myself at the work, at the challenge, the more I'm able to see that I'm able to come up with creative solutions. the more that I dig deep into the problems, the challenges, the more I face the things that I fear, I realize, oh, I'm better than I thought I was. Because I can get down. I can get down. I can look at the problems and challenges. One of my big things lately has been dealing with weight. And so, I'm sitting there like, oh man, I'm just eating too much and I'm not weighing what I want to weigh. I'm technically obese now. Like, what can I do? And then, realizing what I did before, I'm like, you know what? You can do this, Cameron. You can get up early and exercise. You can do this, but it takes facing it, not just saying, oh, I have a problem and it's too difficult. It's too rough, right? When I face it head on, I realize I can come up with some solutions. So if you're with me, type in Grit there. Yolanda's with me, Grit. I appreciate you. Get into the comments. Let me know if there's something that you've had a very challenging time with that has led you to understand that you're better than you thought you were. I have a very positive outlook on life and know that the only difference between a good experience and a bad one is how you look at it. Stay positive. Yeah, I was with the soccer boys yesterday, and there was some negative talk on the field. Listen, if you doubt yourself, you're right. If you believe in yourself, you're right. It's the same thing of you when you say I can and I can't, right? When you believe in yourself, you are giving yourself that permission to succeed. And unfortunately, when you're saying, I can't do it, you're giving yourself that permission to fail. And that's a big deal. Thank you for that, Greg. Appreciate that. So if you're with me, right, if you're still with me here, right, I want to get in here, make sure you get in here. If you're watching this show, I want to hear about your challenges, how it's led to your gift. Don't be a LinkedIn lurker. Get in here and participate. All right, as I get into this piece of the channel, I want to go into the next piece of this whole thing, taking action. All right. And we're going to do #action. What's something you're going to take on today? All right. And I love that, Greg, the little train that could. What are you going to take action on today? Tell me. Are you going to take action? You're going to go out and get some more exercise. You're going to start communicating more with people. Tell me, what are you going to take action on? Are you going to take action on getting more done, more production in your day? Are you going to take action on making sure that you're facing down that challenge? Are you going to take action on speaking about your gift a little bit more? In order for you to capitalize on the gift that you have, on the gifts that you discover, you must take action. And so committing right now, writing it down, declaring it publicly, you could, right? Get in there and talk about, listen, this is the action that you need to take in order to move forward. I want you to do that. All right. So what action are you going to take today? For me, for goals in the business right now, I have actions on hiring more staff. We're taking action on it. We just got an assistant hiring manager into the office. That took action, interviewing. It was a struggle. It was a challenge. We got somebody in there. I'm training her. Taking action on getting things done for the family. And so I got my to-do list and I'm taking action on it. And one of the things that I try to do to make sure that I can continue to take action on things, I love that, Yolanda, being more productive. Stop listening to me. Go do it. But making time for the things that fill your cup is really important. So I appreciate you tuning in. But the idea that you are taking action, you know how to do that, and you're taking steps. And one of those, getting to the point of one of the things that I do to make sure that I'm taking action on things is not to have too many things on the to-do list. Because once I start having too many things, then I start feeling unproductive and my spirit goes low. But when I got one thing on the to-do list, done. All right, find the next thing to do, done, right? And sometimes, you got 2 or 3 things, so you're not sitting there like, well, what's the priority of things to do next? But I can always find things to do, and I can always find priorities. And so making sure that I got those next 2 things to do, that is really important. Greg Kearney, I just accepted a new job. I'm going to schedule lunch with a future coworker that happens to also live in Atlanta. Love that. Taking action, my friend. That is how we get it done. And so, listen, my LinkedIn, my Master Connector family, if you are excited about Master Connector Cruise coming up in September, I want you to take action, get in there, and make sure that you register for that. I'm going to make sure I drop that link here somewhere here we go. This is it. Take action, be a part of this cruise. I'm really excited for this to work out, and make sure that everybody has the opportunity, if you can, to go on this trip with Steve, because it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a great opportunity for you to learn. It's going to be a great opportunity for you to relax. It's going to be a great opportunity for you to connect with the other folks that are on this trip. I just dropped that link down in there. So definitely get in there and check that out. This has been amazing. I love you. I'm sorry that Steve couldn't join us today because of technical difficulties. But listen, if you are more in touch with your gift, if you are doing that self-awareness, you are exploring, you're learning and developing, you are networking and connecting, you are persevering, and you are taking action. Not only do you deserve your gift, the world deserves your gift. And that's all what I'll leave you with today is, remember, when you don't advertise what you do well, when you don't share your gift with others, you are denying people your talents. You are denying people your services. You are basically giving up on people before they've had a chance to let you into their lives, to let you improve their lives in the way that's needed. So remember, provide great service to people. Don't be afraid to talk about what you do well. Somebody needs to hear what you have to say today, and that is important. That's the reason I'm here. That's the reason Steve does what he does. We want to be the light. And so I'm going to leave out of this show like we always do. We're going to count down to crush it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Crush it. Have an amazing week. Go out there and absolutely kill it. Crush it. Have a great time. Remember to advertise your gift. Somebody needs it. Appreciation to my company, Toth Event Staffing, for sponsoring the show. Thank you to Steve Spiro. Hopefully we'll be back on, and we definitely will be back on with the audio working. Next week, we have Michael Moon, episode 114, What's Decision Zen? That's the topic. Same bad time, same bad channel. I'm going to drop that link into the chat as well. And I will see you, my friends, next Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you get into the show. And I appreciate everybody. Thank you very much. I'll lead it out. I got the links in there. Register for next week's show. See you then.